That's Chloe right there, and he's wonderful. I am so proud of him because I know what it must take to speak up the way that he speaks up. The first year he got back, he had horrible nightmares. He'd call me in the middle of the night and say, "Mom, I've got a gun in my mouth. I've got to pull the trigger. I killed too many women and children. I don't deserve to have a mom and a sister anymore." And I'd stay on that phone and I just thought, my God, if the battery dies, I'm going to lose my son. And I'd jump in the car and I'd drive 8 hours down to Camp Pendleton just so I could hold him and hug him and tell him he can't do that. I survived, and I know he's the one that went through Iraq, but being here on this side, not knowing every single moment whether he was going to die, when the only news I got was from watching the news and knowing that things were going on in Fallujah and not having any contact, not being able to answer the phone, but I had to answer the phone. If the door knocked, I would run to it, and then I'd stand, and I couldn't actually answer the door because I was so terrified. When he finally got back, I held him for, I don't know how long, 20, 30 minutes, and I just checked. Oh, he's here. He's all here. He's got his arms. He's got his legs. My baby boy is home. One thing I couldn't check, his soul. A part of his soul was left over in Iraq, and he is fighting and struggling so hard to get part of that soul back.
My name is Chloe Richards. I'm a member of Iraq Vets Against the War. I was a United States Marine. I am a United States Marine. I served 4 years. I did 15 months in Iraq on 2 different tours. 8 months the first time, 7 months the second time. And tonight, I guess I just want to give you some words of empowerment, lest you forget why you're fighting the fight you're fighting. Last night I made a list. I was having trouble sleeping, having some bad nightmares, and I decided to put together a list of reasons why you should keep fighting. I call it Why We Fight. Why I fight. Because I can't forget, no matter how hard I try, that they told me we were taking out advancing Iraqi military forces, but when we checked out the bodies, we found nothing but women and children and elderly who were desperately trying to flee their homes before we attacked their city in the morning. Because my little brother Jacob, who it was my job to protect, joined the California National Guard to get some college money and work 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year, was sent to Iraq for a year, and since he's been home for the past 6 months, he refuses to talk to anyone in the family or any of his childhood friends. He can only be around the one friend who made it home alive with him from Iraq. But the first time he actually decided to talk to me for the 6 months he's been home was only to call me and tell me that he's getting orders to go to Afghanistan. And how he can't sleep because all he thinks about when he lays down his head is picking up the pieces of his 2 best friends and the limbs that were left over after they were struck by a car bomber. Because every single one of the brave men, the Marines, these tough, cold-hearted, just warriors, they're just trained to kill and not even think about it, that I served with in Iraq. Every single one of them I've served with, I've talked to. They've broken down crying in front of me. Guys who wouldn't cry in a combat zone when their best friend was killed because they are that hard. They break down crying in front of me. And they tell me about how all they can do now is bounce from job to job, drink, do drugs, and sit at home contemplating suicide to end the pain. Because I'm tired of bouncing from job to job, drinking and doing drugs, and sitting at home contemplating suicide to end the pain. Because last night, even though I hadn't gotten an hour or 2 of sleep in 2 days, I only slept 2 hours before I woke up shaking in tears and decided to make this list. Because every time I see a child, I think of the thousands of children I've slaughtered. Because every time I see a young soldier, I think of the thousands that Bush has slaughtered. Because every time I look in the mirror, I see a casualty of war. Because I got a lot of lives to save to make up for all I've taken, and because it's right. That's why I fight. And I just wanted to share a poem I wrote on Memorial Day. It was dedicated to one of my best friends. His name was Jeffrey Perez. He died August 15th, 2004. He was killed by a car bomber in Fallujah. And it's really a bad story. I mean, I was really tired. I had decided, I was a corporal, so I didn't have to stand watch, but I decided to take some of the troops as watch, some of the lance corporals and privates, so they get some sleep. And I had done that for about 3 or 4 shifts in a row, so I hadn't slept in about a day. And my friend Jeffrey saw that and he said, "Hey, go take a break. Go get some sleep. I'll take this watch." And then about an hour later, the car bomb came. So last Memorial Day, I was just thinking about him, so I wrote this poem. It's called Survivor's Guilt. I stare at this paper and don't know what to say. I don't feel right saying Happy Memorial Day. I don't find anything happy in the price you've paid. We're both just pawns when this game called war gets played. My body came home, but my spirit just stayed. That hot Iraqi day, I heard you were slain. Watching my back so I could sleep unafraid. I heard the explosion from where I laid, and instantly I watched the skies go gray. I watched my life just float away. How could things go this way? You were my brother in arms, and you took my place, but not like the way that car bomb took your face and blew off your limbs. When I think about it, my head starts to spin. I get nauseous when I think of your family. I want to tell them I truly am sorry. I'm sorry your son died protecting me. This isn't the way things were meant to be. You see, that day your son took my duty. Your brother sacrificed 4 hours of sleep so he could go guard a gate for me. Your fiance took my fate from me. I'm sorry your father took my place for me. I'm sorry I can spend Memorial Day with my family. Today should have been for you, not me.
My name's Carlene, and I'm 12 years old, and my brother, I'm her daughter, and my brother, this war has affected me since 2nd grade, and my brother went over to Iraq and he joined the military, and when he got back, it wasn't the same thing. He was very different. When he came back, we were the greatest brother and sister right before he left. We hugged each other every morning. We said, "I love you." And when he came back, everything changed. Me and my brother got into a lot of fights. For the first time ever, he had made me cry. And, you know, since military families speak out and Iraq Veterans Against the War and all of this, since we first went to walking to New Orleans, you know, everything's finally getting back together now. You know, we hug each other again, and everything's starting to fall back into place, and it feels really good now.